Hello, today I'm going to be doing a little tutorial on how to make a leather skirt hike. So the first step is I'm going to take my wing dividers and I'm going to measure 1.5 inches for the width of the skirt height, because I find that to do two parallel lines, this is the easiest way. And I basically do the whole length of my ruler, which is 12 inches, and I find that's a perfect length to do the skirt hikes. Obviously you can do it longer or shorter as you want. So now I'm gonna cut it out, obviously, now we've marked our leather, though I did have some trouble for some reason cutting the other half of this, and I'll use some skills because I moved the ruler away. But if this happens, if you've scorned it with your knife, basically you can put your blade in between where you've cut it, and you have to be very careful because this is a new blade, so it is sharp. For some reason it didn't cut through. That could be for whatever reason, but sometimes it doesn't go through. You can wedge it in between where you've scorned it and just very carefully cut through. Like I'm doing it like this way, but you kind of have to lean it away from where you don't want to cut it, but very gently. So I'm picking out what pattern I want, because I didn't have in my head what pattern I wanted to put on it. You don't have to, but I decided I'm going to stamp a pattern onto it, and I went with a flower floral stamp with I think it's called a vein stamp. Very basic. You like buy this for basically like every stamp set you get on Amazon. You always normally end up getting these two items with it. So I'm just putting the water on. It's just water, nothing special. You gotta weigh it down to stamp the leather first. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just rounding off the corners. You can leave them square, but I like to round them off because otherwise it will mushroom or bend on the corners, so I just like to round them off. And for what I did for edge finishing, I only did two 800 grit to 1000 grit sandpaper with just beeswax to seal the edge. So I'm going to put the antiquing paste on. With Resin, I really recommend to use this because I have used other stuff with the antiquing paste and it just doesn't work. You want to use the Resin with antiquing paste. Now with this, I could have put some of the Resin on first, and then put antique paste, but I just went ahead and put the antique paste on straight first. I did. And what I do actually is that you wipe it off and then you put don't wait for it to dry, just put the sealant on straight away as well. And the reason why I'm using a sock is because it's cotton and I have so many socks that I just took a random one that I've probably never worn and used it, because it doesn't really matter what you use to apply. Though you find it's basically liquid and it's actually quite difficult to put it on. Okay, so these are the rings. I believe these are, I think they were 2-inch rings in the diameter. But basically just putting the hole in and then just make sure there's enough space for the rings to move up and down to put the fabric in between, and then just put your hole in and then you put your Chicago screw or whatever to hold it all together with.